Eazy-E may have died at just 30, but his legacy lives on through 11 children, each with a story as complex and raw as the man himself. In 2025, some have followed in his footsteps in music and entertainment, while others remain largely out of the spotlight. Family feuds, forgotten tales, and unexpected triumphs paint a portrait far messier and more fascinating than the world ever imagined. Behind the legend of the godfather of gangsta rap is a next generation fighting, thriving, and sometimes struggling under the weight of his name. Eric and Erica Wright. Among his 11 children, his eldest son, Eric Darnell Wright Jr., born in 1984, has become one of the most visible torchbearers of his father's name. Professionally known as Lil Eazy-E, he has spent years carving out his identity in the hip-hop world while keeping the memory of his father, the godfather of gangsta rap, alive for new generations. Lil Eazy-E grew up surrounded by the aura of NWA's influence and the groundbreaking sound his father helped pioneer. Though Eazy-E's untimely death in 1995 left him without the guidance most sons receive, Lil Eazy made it his mission to honor that absence through action. He inherited not only his father's facial resemblance and distinctive voice, but also his entrepreneurial drive. Over time, he became deeply involved in music, releasing his own tracks that echo the gritty realism and raw storytelling of Compton life that his father once immortalized. As a rapper, Lil Eazy-E's catalog reflects reverence for old-school West Coast rap, often featuring collaborations with artists influenced by his father's work. Yet, beyond the music, he embraced the business side of the industry, taking on the role of president of Rich and Ruthless Records, the label once established by Eazy-E himself. Through this revived company, Lil Eazy continues his father's mission of giving young and independent artists a voice, particularly those from Compton and surrounding neighborhoods who might otherwise go unheard. His leadership at Rich and Ruthless is both symbolic and practical. He's not only continuing a brand, but also keeping a vital part of West Coast hip-hop's history relevant in the 21st century. Lil Eazy-E has also worked to bridge the gap between the old school and new generations. Over the years, he's appeared at countless tributes, documentaries, and events celebrating Eazy-E's impact on hip-hop culture. He was notably featured in projects exploring NWA's influence and his father's pivotal role in shaping rap's political and social voice. In interviews, he's expressed both pride and pressure in living up to the right name, acknowledging that while he inherited his father's legacy, he must also build one uniquely his own. "You can't replace Eazy-E," he once said, "but you can make sure people never forget what he did." Alongside Lil Eazy-E stands Erica Wright, Eazy-E's eldest daughter, who was still a young girl when her father passed away in 1995. Unlike her brother, Erica has largely stayed out of the spotlight, choosing a quieter path away from the music business. However, her love and respect for her father have been evident through her actions, especially one deeply personal project that drew public attention in 2019. For most of her life, Erica knew something was off every time she visited her father's grave. The birth year etched into Eazy-E's tombstone was incorrect, a detail that may have seemed small to outsiders but carried deep emotional weight for the family. After years of noticing the mistake, Erica took it upon herself to correct history. Working with Tim Morris, owner of the Yakima Valley Headstone Company in Washington, Erica helped design and commission a new tombstone for her father. The process was not just about fixing an error, it was about honoring Eazy-E's memory with accuracy, dignity, and love. In September 2019, Erica hosted a public unveiling event for the new tombstone at Rose Hills Memorial Park in Whittier, California. The new monument was more elaborate than the original, featuring Eazy-E's iconic image, a cleaner design, and the corrected dates: September 7th, 1964, March 26th, 1995. Fans, family, and members of the hip-hop community gathered to pay their respects, turning the moment into both a memorial and a celebration of Eazy-E's enduring legacy. The event drew widespread media attention, with many applauding Erykah for taking the initiative to preserve her father's history accurately and with care. Though Erykah has remained private about her professional life, her actions in 2019 demonstrated the strength and pride she carries as Eazy-E's daughter. In interviews surrounding the Tombstone project, she expressed how meaningful it was to finally give her father the proper recognition he deserved. For her, it wasn't about fame or publicity. It was about family, truth, and the man behind the legend. Together, Lil Eazy-E and Erykah Wright represent two sides of their father's legacy, one through music and public presence, the other through memory and preservation. Lil Eazy keeps the sound alive, while Erykah ensures the story remains intact. Their efforts underscore how Eazy-E's impact goes far beyond his short career. It lives on through his children, who continue to protect and promote the name that changed the face of rap. Even decades after his death, Eazy-E's influence remains foundational to hip-hop. His children's dedication, whether through artistic expression or historical correction, shows how his legacy has transcended time. They've grown into adulthood navigating the shadow of one of music's most controversial and celebrated figures, each finding their own way to contribute to the narrative. Marquise and Henry Wright. Among his children, Marquise Wright, known as Young Eazy, and Henry Cheron Wright, professionally known as Remarkable, stand out not only for following in their father's musical footsteps, but for the very different ways they've chosen to honor and interpret his legacy. Both born in 1990, they are part of the generation that grew up in the long shadow of Eazy-E's legend, one of controversy, creativity, and enduring influence. Born February 14, 1990, Marquise Wright, known artistically as Young Eazy, grew up surrounded by stories of a man the world revered, but he barely got to know. His father, Eazy-E, died when Marquise was just 5 years old, leaving behind questions that would haunt both family and fans for decades. For Young Eazy, his father's death was never a closed chapter. It was a mystery that demanded answers. Like his older brother Lil Eazy-E, Marquise pursued a career in rap, finding his voice in the same gritty realism that once defined NWA. But his name first made national headlines not for his music, but for a series of controversial claims about his father's death that reignited one of hip-hop's darkest conspiracies. In 2015, Young Eazy took to Instagram, alleging that his father's death was not the natural result of AIDS-related complications, as the public had long believed. Instead, he accused former Death Row Records CEO Suge Knight of being responsible, claiming that Eazy-E had been injected with the HIV virus as an act of revenge or intimidation. He pointed out what he believed were suspicious details surrounding his father's illness, the fact that Eazy-E had been in good health until shortly after a studio altercation with Knight, and that his symptoms appeared to develop with startling speed. In his posts, Marquise drew attention to an infamous 2003 interview Suge Knight gave on Jimmy Kimmel Live, where the death row mogul made a chilling joke about injecting someone with AIDS instead of shooting them, a remark that, in hindsight, many found disturbingly close to the real-life circumstances of Eazy-E's death. "I've been known my pops was killed," Young Eazy wrote online, suggesting that Knight's television comments were more of a confession than humor. The posts quickly went viral, dividing fans between skepticism and renewed curiosity. While some dismissed the theory as conspiracy, others noted that the timing of Eazy-E's illness and the lack of infection in any of his sexual partners, including the mother of his last 2 children, raised legitimate questions. For Young Eazy, it wasn't just about speculation, it was about justice. His remarks reopened old wounds but also reignited discussions about Eazy-E's legacy, corruption in the early 90s rap scene, and the darker side of hip-hop's rise to mainstream dominance. Outside of controversy, Young Eazy has released music that reflects his introspective and defiant personality. His songs pay tribute to his father's legacy while exploring his own identity growing up in the shadow of a legend. Though not as commercially visible as other second-generation rappers, Marquise continues to cultivate a loyal following among Eazy-E fans who appreciate his raw emotion and determination to uncover the truth behind his father's death. Born the same year as her half-brother, Henry Chiron Wright shares more than a birth year with Marquise. She shares the same unstoppable drive that once fueled their father. The daughter of Eazy-E and Kelly Faltersack Robinson, Henry grew up in the post-NWA era, where her father's music had become legend. But rather than simply bask in his legacy, she decided to make a name for herself in her own right. Under the stage name Remarkable, Henry burst onto the music scene with boldness and confidence reminiscent of her father's early days in Compton. Her sound blends classic West Coast rap energy with modern production, and her lyrical style is unapologetically direct. She describes her music as an outlet for both pain and empowerment, shaped by the experience of losing her father before she truly knew him. In 2021, Remarkable released her single Don't Stop, featuring the legendary Uncle Luke, a collaboration that paid homage to the Miami bass movement that once paralleled her father's rise in California. The track combined old-school swagger with contemporary flair, proving that Eazy-E's influence could thrive across generations and coasts. Beyond her music, Remarkable gained widespread recognition through her appearances on WeTV's Growing Up Hip Hop, Atlanta. The show, which follows the lives of the children of famous musicians, gave fans an intimate look at her struggles and triumphs as she sought to step out from her father's massive shadow. On screen, she was fiery and outspoken, unafraid to confront industry gatekeepers who questioned her talent or authenticity. Her episodes often centered around her efforts to earn respect in her own right, something she has echoed repeatedly in interviews. "I'm not trying to be Eazy-E's daughter forever. I'm trying to be remarkable outside of television." Henry has become a social media force, amassing over 200,000 Instagram followers. Her page reflects a mix of glamour, self-expression, and motivational messages, often addressing the challenges of being a woman in hip-hop and the daughter of a legend. Fans admire her for balancing confidence with humility, honoring her father's legacy while forging her own identity. Though young Eazy and Remarkable have pursued very different routes, one marked by controversy, the other by creative independence, they share a common bond in their loyalty to Eazy-E's memory. Marquise's determination to seek justice and Henry's mission to carry the family name into a new generation of hip-hop reflect the same relentless spirit their father embodied. Eazy and Dominic Wright. Born in 1991, Aaron Bria Wright, known professionally as Eazy, is one of the most recognizable of Eazy-E's 11 children. She was only 4 years old when her father, the godfather of gangsta rap, passed away in 1995, yet his presence and influence have remained powerful forces throughout her life. Over the years, Eazy has transformed her grief and curiosity into creative energy, building a career that spans music, television, and film production while carrying forward her father's spirit with a modern and independent edge. Growing up in Los Angeles, Eazy was raised primarily by her mother, Tracy Jernigan, but she never lost her connection to her father's legacy. Her resemblance to Eazy-E and her charismatic personality quickly caught public attention as she began appearing in entertainment projects as a young adult. However, rather than simply living in her father's shadow, she chose to explore the deeper truths of his life and mysterious death, something that became a defining part of her public identity. In her early 20s, Eazy became increasingly involved in the entertainment industry, working not only as a singer and actress, but also as a producer. She developed a passion for storytelling and for giving voice to the unanswered questions that have surrounded her father's passing for nearly 3 decades. She co-produced and helped direct the documentary project A Ruthless Scandal, No More Lies, an investigative film that aimed to uncover inconsistencies in the official narrative of Eazy-E's death. The project examined the widely debated claim that Eazy-E's sudden illness and death from AIDS-related complications in 1995 may not have been as straightforward as the public was led to believe. The documentary became a long-term passion project for Eazy, who, alongside her mother, sought funding through public campaigns and private investors. The goal was not to exploit conspiracy, but to give fans and family the truth they had been denied for so long. In interviews, Eazy expressed frustration at how little media attention had been given to the suspicious details surrounding her father's final months and how many people close to him remained silent. She once said, "I just want the truth. People deserve to know what really happened to my dad. He changed music, and his story deserves justice." Beyond her work in film, Eazy also pursued her love for music, following in Eazy-E's footsteps, but with her own modern, soulful twist. Her musical style blends R&B, pop, and a touch of West Coast hip-hop attitude, an homage to her roots but reflective of her individuality. She released singles such as What I Wanna Do and Dear Daddy, the latter being a touching tribute to her father that resonated deeply with fans who still mourned Eazy-E's passing. The song's heartfelt lyrics and emotional tone demonstrated her ability to transform loss into art, connecting two generations through melody. In addition to her creative pursuits, Eazy also found success in television. She gained national attention when she starred on E's reality show, Relatively Famous, Ranch Rules, which premiered in 2007. The show followed the lives of celebrity offspring, children of famous musicians, actors, and athletes, who were sent to live and work together on a Colorado ranch. Through the series, audiences got to see Eazy's candid personality, determination, and humor. Her appearance helped reintroduce her to a new audience who saw more than just Eazy-E's daughter. They saw a young woman determined to build her own legacy. Over the years, Eazy has also established herself as an entrepreneur, building her personal brand through fashion, music, and social media. She's active on Instagram, where she shares both glamorous lifestyle content and emotional reflections on her father's legacy. Her posts often include tributes to Eazy-E, behind-the-scenes looks at her creative work, and motivational messages about perseverance and authenticity. Eazy's younger brother, Dominic Wright, was also born in 1991 to Eazy-E and his wife, Tamika Woods Wright, in Los Angeles, California. Like his sister, Dominic inherited the creative spark that ran strong in their family. While Eazy's path led her to music and television, Dominic gravitated toward acting and filmmaking. Dominic's acting career began with smaller independent projects, but he quickly gained recognition for his standout role as Curtis in the 2015 film Mistaken, a drama that allowed him to showcase his natural screen presence and depth. His performance was praised for its emotional realism, and though he has not pursued the same level of fame as other Hollywood actors, he has continued to work steadily in film and modeling. As the son of Eazy-E and Tamika Woods, who became CEO of Ruthless Records after Eazy-E's death, Dominic grew up deeply aware of his father's influence on music and culture. However, he has maintained a relatively low profile, preferring to focus on artistic expression rather than public drama. Those who have worked with him describe him as thoughtful, reserved, and professional, a quiet contrast to the larger-than-life persona his father embodied. Though Eazy and Dominic share different mothers and slightly different public trajectories, they are united in their shared mission to protect their father's legacy and continue his creative lineage. Together, they represent two halves of Eazy-E's enduring influence. Eazy, the outspoken truth-seeker and multifaceted entertainer. Dominic, the introspective artist committed to honoring the name Wright with integrity and focus. Derek and Dijah Wright. Two of the youngest, Derek Wright, known professionally as Baby Eazy-E or E3, and his half-sister Dijah Wright, have carried their father's musical torch into a new generation. Both grew up surrounded by the myth and memory of a man whose legacy shaped not only hip-hop, but an entire era of American culture. Their lives, while vastly different in circumstance, reflect the same determination, resilience, and creative spirit that once defined their father's rise from the streets of Compton to the heights of global fame. Derek Wright was introduced to music almost as soon as he could walk. Born during the height of his father's success, he spent his earliest years immersed in the world of studio sessions, concerts, and rap legends who were family friends. It was clear early on that Eazy-E's love for music had been passed directly to his son. Derek began rapping at the remarkably young age of 8, inspired by the same beats and lyrical energy that had made his father famous. Taking on the name Baby Eazy-E, and later E3, he dedicated himself to continuing the Ruthless Records legacy. Even as a child, his talent and charisma drew attention. Fans later learned that he had reportedly appeared in one of his father's own videos, the 1992 single Only If You Want It, where a young boy resembling Eazy-E's son can be seen among the playful scenes of family and community. For many longtime fans, the idea that Derek had appeared in that music video felt symbolic, a brief, real-life moment linking father and son on film, frozen in time before tragedy struck the family. As Derek grew older, his connection to his father's music evolved from simple admiration to purposeful continuation. By his teenage years, he had honed his craft as a lyricist and performer, carefully studying the techniques of his father and his NWA peers. Determined not to simply ride on the Eazy-E name, Derek developed his own style, a blend of West Coast authenticity with a modern edge that appealed to a younger audience. Over the years, E3 has continued releasing music that both honors and redefines his father's sound. His lyrics often explore themes of legacy, perseverance, and family, balancing bravado with reflection. He has spoken in interviews about the weight of carrying the Eazy-E name, acknowledging the privilege and the pressure that come with being the son of one of rap's most iconic figures. As of 2022, E3 remained active in the studio, collaborating with other artists and maintaining his role as one of the heirs to the Ruthless Records lineage. Though not as commercially visible as his older half-brother, Lil Eazy-E, Derek's dedication to his craft has earned him respect within the underground hip-hop scene. Fans of his father often note the striking resemblance between father and son, not just in looks, but in the cadence of his delivery and the energy he brings to the microphone. His mission, as he has often expressed, is to keep Eazy-E's voice alive through his own. While Derek grew up with memories and music to connect him to his father, his youngest sister, Daija Wright, entered the world carrying her father's name, but never had the chance to meet him. Born in 1996, 6 months after Eazy-E's death, Daija was the final gift of a life cut short. Her mother, Tamika Woods Wright, who took over Ruthless Records following Eazy-E's passing, raised Daija and her older brother Dominic in Los Angeles, with an awareness of who their father was and what he represented, not just to hip-hop, but to history. Despite never knowing him personally, Daija grew up surrounded by reminders of her father's greatness. The walls of her childhood home were filled with platinum records, photos, and memorabilia that made Eazy-E's presence tangible. As she matured, Daija discovered her own passion for performance, this time not limited to music, but expanding into acting, rapping, and singing. Her creativity seemed to flow effortlessly, and much like her father, she possessed an ability to command attention whenever she stepped into the spotlight. Daija first caught the public eye through her music, blending melodic rap and R&B elements into songs that reflected both her heritage and her individuality. She has said in interviews that being Eazy-E's daughter gave her a sense of pride, but also a deep responsibility to represent her father's legacy with grace. Her sound is smoother and more soulful than her father's raw gangsta rap style, but the boldness and self-assurance in her delivery unmistakably echo Eazy-E's DNA. Her biggest moment of mainstream recognition came when she appeared on WeTV's Growing Up Hip Hop Atlanta, joining a cast that included the children of other legendary musicians. Daija appeared in the show's third season, where audiences got to know her as both the daughter of a hip-hop pioneer and a young woman navigating her own artistic journey. On the series, she discussed the challenges of carving out a name for herself while living up to a nearly mythical family reputation. Fans were struck by her charm, confidence, and openness about growing up in the shadow of a man she never met but always felt connected to. Today, Daija continues to work as an actress, musician, and performer, balancing her projects with the responsibilities of adulthood. She often uses social media to share glimpses of her creative life, post tributes to her father, and celebrate milestones in her growing career. Her work embodies a softer, but equally powerful continuation of Eazy-E's legacy, a reminder that influence can be inherited not only through memory, but through spirit. Raven, Elijah, and David Wright. While the world knows a great deal about Eazy-E's music, his rise from Compton streets to gangsta rap legend, and his tragic death in 1995, much less is known about several of his children who have chosen to live outside the shadow of his fame. Among his 11 children, Raven, Elijah, and David Wright have led lives of near-complete privacy, rarely seen or spoken about publicly. In an era when most of their siblings have pursued careers in entertainment or reality television, these three have instead chosen silence and seclusion, keeping their identities almost entirely away from media scrutiny. Eazy-E's daughter, Raven Wright, remains one of the most mysterious figures in the family. Unlike her half-siblings, such as Lil Eazy-E, Ebe, or Remarkable, Raven has never sought a platform to discuss her father's legacy or her personal experiences growing up as one of the late rapper's children. She has not been seen attending industry events, commemorations, or anniversary celebrations related to her father's career, even though many of her siblings have done so over the years. For fans of Eazy-E, her absence has often sparked curiosity, but those close to the Wright family suggest that Raven prefers her peace over the pressure that comes with public recognition. There are no verified social media profiles linked to her name, and unlike her more outspoken siblings, she has never granted an interview or appeared in a documentary. Those who have researched the Wright family often note that Raven's decision to maintain her privacy is entirely understandable, considering how chaotic Eazy-E's life was in the public eye. During the height of his fame, Eazy-E was surrounded by media controversy, political attention, and the constant glare of fame that came with his role as a founding member of NWA. For some of his children, that spotlight was an inheritance. For others, like Raven, it was something to escape from. Her silence has, in a way, given her life a rare authenticity, one unmeasured by fame or attention, but instead grounded in anonymity and normalcy. Similarly, Elijah Wright, another of Eazy-E's lesser-known sons, has remained completely off the grid. Almost nothing is publicly known about Elijah's life. His birthplace, education, or occupation are all private. Unlike his brothers Lil Eazy-E, Young Eazy, or E3, Elijah never pursued a career in music or entertainment. His absence from social media and public records has made him one of the most enigmatic members of the Wright family tree. There have been rumors that Elijah may have settled into a professional life away from Los Angeles, preferring not to engage with the music industry that shaped his father's legacy, but these claims have never been confirmed. It is also possible that Elijah's choice mirrors that of many children of famous figures who grow up under the weight of expectations. Being Eazy-E's son means carrying a name associated with a groundbreaking but turbulent legacy, one tied to gangsta rap's raw power and the cultural controversies that came with it. Some of Eazy-E's children have embraced that legacy proudly, while others, like Elijah, appear to have quietly stepped away, content to live privately rather than attempt to define themselves in comparison to an icon. Then there is David Wright, another child whose life remains completely shrouded in mystery. Of all Eazy-E's known children, David might be the most elusive. His name occasionally surfaces in lists or fan discussions online, but there is virtually no verifiable information about him. He has never been photographed publicly, never spoken to the media, and never been associated with any entertainment projects. Even among fans who have followed the Wright family for decades, David remains an enigma. Some fans have speculated that David may have been raised outside the spotlight, possibly by his mother far from the media frenzy that surrounded Eazy-E's career and death. Like his siblings Raven and Elijah, David seems to have deliberately chosen privacy over publicity. In today's digital era, where even the smallest family connections of celebrities are often dissected online, their ability to remain unknown is remarkable. It suggests that these three siblings, while forever connected to their father's legend, have found peace in obscurity. While Eazy-E's other children have occasionally found themselves in headlines, whether through music, documentaries, or social media disputes, Raven, Elijah, and David's decision to live quietly speaks volumes about how fame can divide a family. Not every child of a celebrity desires to inherit the spotlight. Some simply want to live normal lives, defined not by their parents' fame, but by their own choices. Their existence also adds a layer of depth to the legacy of Eazy-E himself. Though he was widely celebrated for his fearless personality and larger-than-life presence, his personal life was far more complex, involving multiple relationships and children who each experienced different versions of their father. For those who grew up in his household, fame was a double-edged sword, offering opportunities for some, but leaving others to navigate a path of quiet distance. What do you think about Eazy-E's children? Leave us your comments in the section below. We hope you have found this helpful video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thank you for watching this, and see you in the next videos. Goodbye.